So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. Storm is coming, so you guys start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for it, coming for it. Coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storm is coming, so you guys start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. on the fun. I'm never gonna look back, 'cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
All right, guys, happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys had an excellent weekend. And all the fathers, I hope you got to spend some time with your kiddos or your dads if they're still with us. How's everybody doing tonight? We got a couple guests waiting in the back room. I don't want to keep them waiting, so let's bring them on and say hello to everybody. Let's see who we got back here. I see the monkey tamer. Let's bring him in. Mediocre. What's going on, amigo?
What's up, brother? You have a good Father's Day?
I had a swell day. If you saw the intro I just played, that was how I spent my day.
Nice. I love it.
Practicing some different editing stuff. I always am trying to improve a little bit every day. And today I got to learn a bunch of new things. It's fun to do those type of musical, theatrical type videos. So let's see. Let's get our other guest in here. I need to update his intro, but we're going to go with the one that I have for him, a noisy Corax. Corax, what's up, buddy? Oh, there it is, the forehead.
I'm sorry, I had to appear like I did in a famous YouTube documentary that came out 2 weeks ago.
the famous documentary that 7 people have watched.
Oh my goodness.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm surprised. Look, after watching that video, Tony, I only thought that, you only had 2 eyes. That's the only thing I saw through most of that.
I'm going to incorporate the eyes in some future video or trailer that I have coming up. I'm going to.
Oh, Tony sees everything.
Yeah. I see the clownish behavior out there, and my eyes see really good who the liars and the conspiracy theories, the flat earthers, the anti-Semites, the what else are they? They hate women. They like to sexualize women to take away from their free speech on the internet. The list is long. The list is long.
See, someone got the joke. I see it 4 acts. Someone was on Saturday's live stream.
I got to get me a clown nose, Tony, for this show.
Oh man, that's on National Clown Day. Let's make sure we all get our clown noses.
Yeah, buddy.
And we are going to have some Clown News Network segments coming up in this live stream. Since we didn't pick the name picked us, but we're going to use it to report on the clowns out there on the clickbait channel. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for that.
Sufjan's already trying to stir the pot.
What's Sufjan got to say? Mediocre Casey Shaw said you violated his AMC squeeze principles. Oh no! What did he violate, Sufjan?
Oh my God! Because I trade.
Hey, mediocre! You should tell him to sit and spin on this.
Corax, I heard on the documentary I was accused of being close friends with Casey Shaw. Like these people don't even realize that all of the pumpers have me blocked, including Casey Shaw, who I've talked to in person one time at a movie theater in Dallas for about 5 minutes. And then shortly thereafter, I got blocked. I haven't talked to KC in
Over
a
a
year.
fucking year, Tony, at least.
Over a year. Yeah, he hates my guts. And
But
so
I'll say this.
even
This
more
one
funny that
always
these
made all of
dipshits making documentaries can't bother to fact check
I
basic
really
shit
get
like
scare
that.
quotes out of that. Documentaries.
I don't give a shit, you guys, what Casey or anybody.
But hey,
thinks
if
of
you
what I
want,
do.
if you want to watch that documentary, that evidence about how all of us are evil paid Adam Aaron shills, even though I call him out on a pretty irregular basis for what I don't like about him, you can watch the live stream from Saturday on my channel. I guarantee it's more entertaining than sitting through that snooze fest.
I know you're not a big fan of Adam Aaron. You never have said that you were. You were playing the AMC 8 purely for arbitrage.
And I don't think he's necessary. Like, when I say I don't like Adam Aaron, it's like he played his cards what he thought was going to be good for the company. It didn't work out.
Well,
And
it did work out. They're not bankrupt.
Well, I mean, like that part of it, but like he wanted, like they're heavily in debt. It's still a situation in progress, but like he's a glad hander. Of course, he's going to be kind of that borderline kind of, shuck and jive CEO. He's a smooth talker. He knows how to communicate. He knows how he wants to communicate what he says. And so, like you say about every CEO, you don't take them at face value. Do your own research.
Yeah, I don't know how many times or how many videos I need to make. Let's see. I made a video called Don't Trust Any CEO. Who do you think that was about, you guys? But I'm carrying water for Adam Aaron. Go watch Don't Trust Any CEO. That will tell you how I feel about every CEO. Go watch my other video called the CEO Handbook, which is going to tell you how they're going to screw you with dilution any chance they can if they need money. That's not because I hate CEOs. I just want you guys to anticipate them doing their job. Mm-hmm. They're not evil. They don't hate you. They're not trying to stop your squeeze. They're not trying to work with hedge funds or shorts. They are literally trying to not go bankrupt. And they'll do a lot of things you're not going to like when you're investing in companies that are not profitable. So what do we say? Read the financials, understand the balance sheet.
Apparently reading is a bad thing. Like it means you're an elitist if you know how to read financial documents.
I don't get mad at these guys. I understand why people get mad at them. I don't get mad at them because I already know they're going to do it.
You get mad at? I'm expecting it to come now.
What is there to be mad at? You know what I'd be mad at? If they just stepped aside and let the company go bankrupt with no warning. You know who should be mad? Who should be mad? The BBBY people, when their CEO Sue Gove goes on TV and does an interview saying everything's fine, and 2 days later,
1 week before, 2 days,
a couple days later files bankruptcy. That's who you should be mad at. Don't be mad at CEOs who are telling you, guys, we got a liquidity problem. We're not making money. We need to raise cash. I mean, how much more honest could he have been? Right, Plus, there's 5 pages of risk factors in every 10Q for the last 3 years of AMC, if you ever bothered to read. But for some people, apparently that's a challenge. Reading is fundamental.
Either that or go buy food.
It's a Fugazi, yeah. Someone told me, I think he was a Marine that lives in a farm. He said, those risk factors aren't real. They're just there to scare us from investing in the play. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they probably should scare you from investing, but that's not the point. I mean, the point is so you can't sue them because they're probably going to act on those risk factors if things go sideways, i.e. sell preferred shares, raise cash, dilute. That's just how it is. Corax or mediocre. I heard a GameStop YouTuber the other day say, someone tell me why NVIDIA is at an all-time high. You're mad at GameStop for selling at an all-time high. Why isn't NVIDIA diluting? It's because no one will buy their stock because it's too expensive.
Didn't NVIDIA just do a forward split?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the answer is what? Because NVIDIA has, I don't even know, 40 billion in cash on their balance sheet.
They have a
Let's
ton
see.
of
They've got
revenue,
they've got products that are selling.
revolutionary products in the
they-
tech space.
They have
Like, go look at what NVIDIA is doing. It's crazy.
they have cash flow out the ass. They've got a excellent balance sheet. I mean, they don't need to sell shares. That's why they're not.
So
No
they do a
one
forward split. So that
no
they
one
can,
wants to sell shares. They do it because they must. And you must admit
Right.
that GameStop needed to. They're not doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. They're also not doing it to hurt you. They're doing it to ensure their own survival because things are not swell. Well, they weren't swell at GameStop a month ago. Now the paradigm's shifting with 4 billion on the balance sheet. That this changes the game. But I mean, the level of analysis that goes on out there on YouTube, like someone explain to me why NVIDIA is not selling shares. Well, how about you look at their financials and their sales? They don't need to.
but Tony, NVIDIA also lowered they lowered their what the share price is because they did a forward split.
Yeah.
So it made it easier for people to buy the stock.
Yep. They sure did. I am having a cigar tonight. I usually like to wait about 5 minutes of a live stream starting in case the algo. Sometimes the algo is looking for people smoking because the.
Oh shit!
I mean, it'll think that you're smoking a joint, and it'll automatically demonetize you, and then you got to go appeal it. And so I think that the video sniper algo only looks at the first couple minutes.
Usually, if it's a live stream, yeah.
Yeah. So now let's go. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
I'm popping up my Excel screener since we're talking about stocks tonight. Maybe I could find some goodies to talk about. I'm gonna close this out. Apparently
Mediocre. Do you have your one of your broker apps up there? I've been hearing that the IV was going haywire over the weekend on some of the AMC call options for next week.
Let me go take a look. I didn't open it yet, but I am right now.
We don't usually look at IV on the weekends. I did look at it yesterday. Some of them were up to 500%. Someone sent me a screenshot today, 1,600% IV. And maybe, I mean, it probably is going up, but is it because of a real reason or is it anomaly? I don't know.
I like IV.
Yeah, but how can IV is predicting future volatility of the underlying shares, which aren't trading over the weekend? So why is IV shifting over the weekend? That is a little bit odd to me. And the only reason I can't really comment on it is, I don't usually look at IV over the weekend to see if it's changing or not. So
we're talking about the IV on AMC or GameStop.
The AMC, I think both. But I'm talking about
they've
AMC.
been trading almost like a pair.
What strike? Let me see.
Been trading what?
They've been almost trading like a pair this whole time.
Yeah, last night when I looked, the IV on like the January 21st, $40 or maybe the 28, something way at the end of the top end of the calls was up to like 500%. But the open interest was 2. So who cares? Who cares?
The 950 is 400%. Open interest on that one is, hold on, 950, 6,228 on the 950. So that one is up on the 950 call. That's cool. That was quite a bit, 400%. Let me go look and see if there's others.
I forgot to cut my cigar on the other end. That would help.
Why know my cigar work? Oh. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, Tony. So it does look like the higher strikes have a higher implied volatility, but yeah, you got some at $18 or 580. Yeah, so there are some high ones really high up.
But
20
why would they be going up over the weekend? And why just a couple of, I mean, normally when we see IV move, we're seeing all of them move. And
Yeah, and usually it doesn't move because options don't trade
I
outside
didn't
of
see it
market
happen, so I
hours.
can't say that actually happened because I wasn't. I'm not looking at the $20 strike because that's at 582% right now. But is that really it? We'll have to find out tomorrow morning, right? But I didn't see it climb up, so I can't really answer the question.
that was kind of my take on it last night when I was looking at it. I was like, you know what? For me, this is not worth getting everybody all spun up over. Let's just be patient and see what it looks like on Monday morning. I mean,
Nine
if the
9:45.
if the IV was crazy, implying that the underlying had a lot of, for some reason, volatility expected, then wouldn't you expect to see GameStop going to the moon right now on Robinhood?
Well, there's that too. But the other side of that too, Tony, is if you're just talking about AMC and you want to say that they're separate, even the lower strikes, the 6 or 7, the 8, those would be going up too because they're closer to the money.
Right, exactly.
And I don't see that. Do you?
And GameStop is only up 1% in overnight on Robinhood. So
So I'll look at it tomorrow morning just to see, but I just think I don't know what it is, to be honest. I'm not even going to comment on it.
yeah, I think keeping your emotions in control and just being patient and calm is the best thing. Is it interesting? Yes. Is it real? I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Let me get the chat back up on the window because I can't scroll. Here we go. Sparky says, can't Ivy go up when people buy out of the money calls? I mean, nobody can buy them over the weekend, Sparky. That's what's really weird to me.
I didn't see it move, so I can't say. It could have been like that Friday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am.
Could be a glitch in the matrix too that it didn't update on Friday, and so now it's updating.
Glitch better have my money. I've been seeing a lot of people reporting on it, and they appear to be tracking and posting every time these IV update. But I have not spent most of my weekend on social media. When I log in for a second, I see these updates, and I'm taking them at their word. But I've taken people at their word before, and they aren't always correct. So
but they're so far out of the money, Tony. I don't see why it would matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's going to open at 30. AMC's going to open at 30 on Monday. Mediocre. That's the.
Well, I hope it does for all of you.
I hope it does too.
I mean, if it does, it does. I'm not worried about it, and I don't even have any shares. But for you guys, I hope it does.
Ayo says the pumpers are encouraging leaps. If they're piling up on buy orders for calls, wouldn't the IV get a boost too? I don't know. My understanding is there's two things that the IV is supposed to be related to the underlying, the expected volatility of the underlying stock, not necessarily trading in the options themselves. But we also see when I never know what is the right way to say it. When a stock is moving up fast and the volatility is increasing, the IV is increasing too because of demand on the call options. And then I get confused. Is it the demand on the call options is why they're padding the IV? Or is it because the underlying kind of thing? Or is it because the underlying's going up so fast? What'd you say, Clorex?
A bit of a feedback loop thing where the gamma and the delta hedging causes them to take in more shares, which causes a feedback loop. And
I don't claim to be an expert on all of the mechanics of how the options market makers.
One of these days, we'll learn calculus for you and figure it out.
I know the
Actually-
generalities of how it works, the absolute market mechanics of it.
Start studying the Black Shoals.
Yeah.
I know what Black Shoals is. I know what the Greeks are, but why one of them would be moving up over the weekend, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me. So I know that the CBOE is closed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gus says, trader, that's you, mediocre. Talk about how you think the petro dollar is at an end.
Oh, I'll let him answer, and I got some things about the
Good.
Gus.
I saw a headline about Saudi Arabia.
And I know some people who are in the actual oil market who has the news on that bit of clickbait.
All right, what do y'all got? Fill us in.
I'll let mediocre go.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, Saudi Arabia said they're going to sell oil to who they want to sell it to for whatever currency they want to sell it for. That's it. It's the end of the petrodollar.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the petrodollar exists at all, because never has been any agreement to trade the oil in U.S. dollars. They've just decided to do it because it's the more stable currency. And I've had people who are actual like oil and gas experts who are from the Middle East. You're like, this deal that people talk about, they don't exist. It's all clickbait. And I would say that people are looking at it from the wrong direction. Why would Saudi Arabia accept other currencies? Well, it's a lot. Like DXY is on another rally after FOMC. I said it was going to go back to 105 by Friday. It got there by Thursday. There's a lack of dollar liquidity. If China doesn't have dollars to give Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia wants to sell the oil so they can make money, they'll take whatever currency they can get, and maybe give them a bit of haircut, a little extra on top because they don't like the stability in the yuan or whatever. And, they'll trade in whatever currency to get the oil sold. So I think it's a nothing burger.
Have either of y'all read any articles from like economists of what they think about this? No,
I haven't read anything from any of the economists. I've just been following some of the oil and gas people I follow, and that's where I got that little tidbit that there's never been an agreement to trade in dollars. They just have decided to do it because, you know what, the dollar is the more stable currency, but if there's not enough dollars to trade in, they'll take whatever currency they can because they want to make money at the end of the day.
I think it hurts the U.S. because we have less control. You're making other countries' currencies stronger. That's the problem. That's the only problem I see, but it is what it is.
I guess that depends. Are they using reserves that they already have, or are they having to print more of their currency to buy oil? It really depends. You have to get a little bit more into the nitty gritty that I haven't done yet. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. I'm just going to put out the different ways it could happen. And at that point, I'd say that you got to kind of do your own research and figure out on your own at that point.
AEO says, I'm thinking along the same lines as Forex. Let's talk about GameStop for a second. So as we ended up last week, we talked about this a little bit on Friday. As we ended up last week, the stock ended relatively flat. Warren Kitty has 9 million shares. He's got no call options. We don't know what else he's going to do. He's running low on cash. He's only got like, what was it, 6 million left? Well, there's a lot of people speculating, of course, like they will, that he's got a secret cash account stashed away, and he's going to buy some more call options. But
Tony, he does have the ability to raise cash if he wants to. A lot of it.
I'm talking Roaring Kitty, not Ryan Cohen.
That's what I'm talking about.
You think he could get a loan?
I don't think he needs a
loan.
Got
margin account.
I don't know if you can. I don't know. Can you get margin on GameStop?
I don't think he needs margin. I think he can sell covered calls and make them mint.
Bet it would eat up your collateral real fast.
That's
what I think.
That's how to make your next 100 million. Just sell covered calls on 9 million shares.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people who are selling naked those because like you said, the IV's really hot about these way out of the money calls. So people are just selling naked calls out there, knowing the price will never reach that unless, you have another one of those big, huge spike ups like we had the past 2 times when Roaring Kitty did something. So
you actually know people that are selling naked calls
on GameStop, way out there at like 80 or whatever, that people are just buying, that are like speculating really hardcore, like not close where it's in the danger zone, but like look, if people are going to buy these in the market and want to play the loser bet game, they'll take the free, because I think they were trading at like 50 cents premium. And so, I mean, if people want to buy those all the way out there on weeklies, like, give me your free money.
Just for the
I'm sure Mediocre would feel the same way, except he probably would want covered calls to be safe.
just for the sake of argument for anybody who's listening, I did quick math on 9 million shares at 15 cents a share. That's $1.3 million
a week.
a week.
Absurd.
How's that make you feel, Tony?
Makes me feel poor.
Those pennies add up quickly, Mediocre.
Tony, it's only pennies. Don't worry about it.
Only pennies.
Oh God.
Your favorite GameStop YouTuber was poo-pooing people Corex for selling covered calls.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't like
you guys are just
over.
You're just making pennies. Why are you doing this?
He doesn't like the people in the Get Along gang because they make money. He doesn't make money, so he's got a rag on him.
Ben says, Tony, you need to smoke some double apple hookah. You're smoking a hookah there, aren't you, Corex? What do you got?
Yeah, I've got lemon and mint.
All right.
I'm not a big double apple person.
We used to smoke hookah. I told this story before. I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped smoking hookah because it bothered my lungs so bad.
I feel you. It can get pretty rough if you let the coals go for too long on some pretty dry shisha.
Well, mine was just frequency. When you're working from home and the hookah's right there,
and it's habit. It's like it's there. I'm here.
So now, I mean, if I feel like I need nicotine, which I know I should quit, I have the vape and I don't have any pain. And the cigars you guys see me smoke, that's only live with you guys or in Vegas. So I'm not sitting around smoking. I'm not smoking cigars.
You taking us to Vegas, Tony?
Yeah.
Tony, remember the live stream you were smoking a cigar and it was getting to you?
Yeah. I almost passed out.
Tony's like, I gotta end this live stream. Oh, shit.
Nicotine poisoning.
It could happen, man.
What's up, J-Star? But yeah, Ben Hammond, we used to do some damage on hookah. I still think about it sometimes, but no, don't do it. Don't do it, Tony.
What's up, Perp Man?
What other questions y'all got?
I did not inhale.
I just wanted to come have 2 beers and hang out and answer questions from you guys. I don't have, I took most of this weekend off, other than today. Like I said, my entire day today was just editing that 6-minute intro, putting that together. That was just fun for me, learning something new. But
yeah,
I didn't look into a whole lot of stocks this weekend.
I've been mainly catching up because a couple people on my Discord, we were looking at some things and we were thinking, if we're all feeling that there's a recession coming, we're not so hot on automobile companies, but what about, like, think of this situation, because it makes sense, at least in my mind. If it's a recession and you're, someone living on an income that, you've got your own restraints and everything, what are you going to do first? Are you going to buy a new car if it breaks down, or are you going to get parts to fix the car?
Correct. Why the hell did you say that? Me and my wife, I shit you not, this morning, I'll get her in here. You could ask her yourself. We're just talking about exactly that.
And so we were looking
auto parts, right?
Yeah, we're looking at some of these auto part companies that are on the cheap, and then going like, some of these are trading at or below book value, and they make a
Napa is
lot of
pretty
money,
freaking low right now. Go look at Napa.
the good time to start looking at some of those, seeing which ones are going to be hot.
That's a good idea. If you can think ahead of the economy, and Wall Street hasn't already done the same, those are some good ideas.
Yeah. Hey,
And
Tony, if you want to look at it, I'm looking at one right now, STLA. It's a foreign company, but I mean, they're trading below book value, and they've got a EV to earnings of 3. That sounds pretty sexy to me.
STLA. All right, I'm going to pull it up on the other screen here. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I could use a new car, but I don't really want to buy one right now with both with the economy and car prices and interest rates all being where they're at. Long as my car is not acting up, or I can fix whatever's wrong with it, I'll wait till it's a better time to buy a new car. And I really want to get to 400,000 miles on this vehicle. That'd be kind of cool. I'm somewhere over 350,000 miles right now.
What kind of vehicle?
Suburban.
Oh, nice.
It still looks new. I put a new engine and transmission in it at 200,000 miles.
That's why I like my Jeep. It's not as big as like a Suburban or an SUV, but it's got plenty of hauling space and got good gas mileage. So if I need to pick something up, I can. I
don't drive a lot either, since I work from home. So it's not like why do I need to go spend $95,000 on a new truck?
Yep.
Just milk that puppy as long as I can. All right. STLA. I can't see any quarterly updates for them, but I can see annual.
Yeah, because because they're a foreign company under SEC rules, they update bi-quarterly.
Are they an OEM manufacturer that sells to auto parts stores or what? I know the name of this company.
Let me pull it back up here.
Profile.
It engages in design, engineering, manufacturing, distribution, and sale of automobile light commercial vehicle engines, transmission systems, metallurgical products, mobility services, and production systems.
If I'm not mistaken, aren't they a manufacturer?
So I think they engineer and manufacture like the engines, transmissions, and different like mobility services, which I assume is like for handicapped people.
I think they're a contract manufacturer. I could be wrong. Because that is ringing a bell as I'm thinking about one of the EV companies. Anyways, yeah, I'll leave this screen up and look into it.
Look up Napa, Tony.
Napa? What's their ticker? Napa?
I forget.
Like Napa Auto Parts?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me see if I can find it.
It is NAPA. Yep, Napa.
NAPA is the Duckhorn portfolio.
Trades under GPC. It's a division of Genuine Parts Company.
GPC, $136. Yeah, that looks like the Napa logo. Analysts have a price target on it of 160 with a low of 68, a high of 195. At the forecasted target, you have about a 17% potential return over the next 12 months.
Yeah.
And unless, like you guys are guessing that used auto parts really catches fire, then you could maybe push up to that 195.
Yeah.
PE ratio is 15, which is very reasonable. EV to earnings is 18. Current ratio is fine, 1.14. Return on equity, return on assets. These are what I want the GameStop people to look at. Let's put this up on the screen so we can see what a real company looks like. Oh, I see Mike in the background there. What? Oh, wait, Mike. I've got a special opener for you.
Yeah.
Live from Ethan's
got a special opener. I've been waiting for you, Mike. Mike is our good friend that loves AMC. Almost, I was going to say almost as much as me, but he actually likes AMC a little bit more than me. So, Mike, I made this just for you. I hope you enjoy it.
I also like to live dangerously.
Welcome. How you doing, Mike?
Thank you, Tony. I'm flattered. That was lovely.
We got to have something for everybody, and I didn't want you to feel left out without having an intro. Oh man, how you feeling about AMC next week? This has been an exciting time over the last month.
Yeah, it's been fun, but like I don't know, like for me, you guys know me, I'm kind of a long-term hold, so weekly volatility doesn't bother me too much. I'm maintaining my same strategy. I average in every couple of weeks. I got some dry powder. I'm kind of hoping for a pullback again into the threes. That'd be lovely, but I think maybe I missed that boat. But still holding on to that in case that happens. I did start averaging into some long-term options though too. I like the 5s and 10s in January. So every couple of weeks, along with a couple of shares, I've been adding a couple of long-term calls as well too. And we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah, I still don't know. I can't say with certainty as long as Roaring Kitty excitement is going on what's going to happen with AMC. But like you, Mike, I'm hoping that I can get some back around the $4 range. $3.50 would be lovely, but at the closer we get to Q3, then I start an excitement over better box office. Maybe it doesn't go back down to that range.
Yeah, it looks like Q2 is going to underperform though, so I'm thinking maybe that's going to be a final dip if it's not priced in already. Like I said, if I don't get the price, I'll keep on averaging in and I'll use my dry powder elsewhere. But that would be I would like that kind of lower price to get my final position all set up and get those last few calls kind of in my portfolio and then just kind of sit and wait till 2026 happens if we don't get a markup before then.
I see. We have a preliminary update on the box office for this weekend. $210 million.
Yeah, it was Inside Out just killed it.
Let me put that up on the screen for the folks, and then we'll go back and look at Napa. Which window is this? Oh, here we go. So is that our best weekend yet this quarter? I mean, this year?
Oh, this 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think anything came close to that.
Wow.
That doubled what Dune 2 did.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. But it's, like I don't get emotional about this kind of stuff either. Like last month, we had a couple movies underperform. This month, it looks like we'll have a movie or two overperform. That's kind of how the box office goes. You just got to see what those final numbers are year over year and see how they're increasing and see how they're improving to kind of get a final idea where AMC is going to go, I think, and just everywhere in the industry. But it's nice seeing that momentum and nice seeing lots of people and families out to go see a movie this weekend for sure.
So we've got Bad Boys Ride or Die, total gross so far domestic, 112 million. I had it forecast for Q2 at 250 million. So we're halfway there 2 weekends in. That's really good. We got a shot of hitting 250. 250 I had forecast for its entire domestic run. So I think we have a shot of getting 250. We went and saw Bad Boys Ride or Die yesterday. Fantastic, funny movie. Inside Out 2, I had it forecast for its domestic run at 375 million, and we're at 155 on the first weekend. So I'd say we have a good shot of hitting 375.
Yeah, it looks like this. I kind of initially had this second quarter somewhere around about 2 billion, maybe 2.1. I don't think it's going to get there. May was kind of slower than expected. But if we get up around 1.7, 1.8, then I think that's okay, I guess. And we'll just see how Q3 and Q4 perform. They look much stronger than the first 2 quarters. So.
Well, for anybody wanting to know, AMC updates with anticipated numbers and cash burn, I'll be doing my official AMC weekly video probably tomorrow night. So I'll plug in all these new numbers we got from this weekend into the spreadsheet, do some forecasting, and it's still guesswork right now, right, Mike? Because we still got 2 more weekends to go.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks like, we'll have a couple $200 million weeks, and then we got a bonus weekend that'll do another 100, 150. So I think we'll be somewhere.
And I'm doing my part. We still have like 5 movies to go see this month. Inside Out 2, A Quiet Place, The Watchers, and The Bike Riders, and Horizon. I'm going to see all of those before the end of this month. So hopefully, if you guys like movies, there are some good ones to go out there and see.
But kind of going to your point there, Tony, looks like there'll be more cash burn probably Q2 than expected. So, that ups dilution risk. Maybe we'll see another small offering just to shore up the sheet to get us through, or maybe they're going to kind of clench their butt cheeks and be like, well, Q3 is going to do fine and we're going to start making money, so they won't do it anymore. But
that's really,
the risk is there.
That's the question of the day. And the main reason why I haven't, I made a lot of money on GameStop last week whenever it ran up to 60 and I sold. And I've just got that cash sitting there. I'm like, do I buy AMC? I did buy a little bit of GameStop back, just above $23. But I was like, do I buy AMC with this? Do I wait and see if Q2 bad numbers bring us down? But what if they don't? But then what if management thinks they need more cash? It's like, how do you freaking decide? It's a coin toss.
That's the thing I'm wondering about, because you don't know how long this Roaring Kitty thing is going to keep going. So even if you think it might be solid, this might be your last good chance at like trading just above $5, and it's really struggled to stay above $5. Do you take a little bit of cash here just to be on the safe side in case one of these quarters goes awry? A lot of the folks in our Discord aren't mediocre. There's people buying in this range, right? And they're just saying, fuck it. If it goes down, we'll make it up with covered calls.
Yeah, but what they're doing though is that they're buying, they're selling right at the money, so they can exit quickly or whatever. You know what I mean? But they are trying to accumulate at the same time, but they're trying to get the most amount of premium as they could get, which is smart. I'm not in yet. Right now I'm trying to sell the 450s and maybe the 4s, but I'm trying to get in between 4 and 450 because I'm like Bullish Mike. I think it could go back maybe to between 350 and 4, but I don't want to count on it. I want to make sure I can get a position at a good price.
Yeah, I may sell some cash secured puts next week, like at 450. If it drops down to 4 and I get exercised at 4, great. I wouldn't mind buying the shares at 4.
But if they don't end up diluting, Tony, and it doesn't drop, I got no problem buying it where it's at. I don't care.
Same here. If they don't dilute, I think, and it's hanging out here into July, I think that's maybe the new, the new norm, and unless there's dilution coming.
Yeah, and I've noticed it just watching from what I've been doing is like while AMC and GameStop have been kind of moving together on a percentage basis, AMC's have been a little bit more sticky. It hasn't ran as much necessarily, but it's been less on a percentage basis wanting to go down because, it's kind of at a price where, like when we were talking about last, I think with Mike and all of us here, it was like, what?
Can you get
a little under $3 or around $3? So like even if GameStop had a huge retreat, I don't think AMC is going to retreat a whole lot because where's it going to go? Like $3? Okay, that's right back where it was last time.
Even if it went to 350, there's no reason for it to go to 350 right now, considering the rest of the year is going to be good. The only reason it would, I think, is if they announce the dilution.
I think it would have to be.
I think even with the dilution, you're into like short-term price depreciation, and if like I said, if you have the box office recovery that we're expecting, you end up getting that coming back to it's
Yeah.
buying opportunity.
Yeah. I mean,
But same with GameStop. I was lucky enough. I had a legacy position where I'd been selling
No.
covered calls for the last couple of years, and I got out of it with that run up. But the IV was so damn high that when we had the pullback to about 24, I grabbed another couple hundred shares, and I just been selling covered calls for the premium because the premium is just absolutely nuts on it. And I'm kind of thinking like I don't understand the GameStop play as much as AMC. I get he's got a lot of cash and they got to do a pivot, but for me, I'm just kind of like close to the money covered call selling and just making whatever money I can. If I get exercise, then I'm making myself a little bit of money on that and letting it ride and using that extra money into AMC or into my long-term investments. So that's kind of how I'm playing GameStop right now.
Speaking of
I'm thinking
GameStop,
if they
interesting.
if it's an ATM offering, it's going to hurt. But if it's a deal they make, it's probably not going to hurt as bad. That's if it's an ATM, I think it could get down to 350. But if not, I think it'll get to 4. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah,
It's,
and like
it's
for me, like I said, even with dilutions, if there's some short-term price action, like I said, expecting the box office to recover, and you look at fundamentals, it should be valued well over that 350 in the next 18 to 24 months.
Exactly.
Unless there's a complete collapse in the box office.
here's what sticks in my mind, Mike, that I can't quit thinking about, that Adam said in the annual meeting. He said, we're not actively talking right now about doing another ATM offering. However, we are actively looking at doing more debt for equity swaps. It was about at the 38 to 40 minute mark of the call. So, I mean,
so they're thinking might have pivoted. They're thinking might be, we have enough cash and the box office is going to recover. And now our biggest problem isn't getting
debt,
through the next
which is
quarter.
weighing down on the revenue.
Yeah. Now the thing is, like, obviously they're not going to make enough money to pay off $2.5 billion by 2026. So that's maybe right now they've pivoted in their thinking, and that's what their focus is.
And why go through
that we have?
Why go through the pain and the hassle and the irritating all the retail investors doing an ATM to get cash to pay off debt if you can just do a debt for equity swap? Boom, 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 it's done.
That's
what
what
the nice thing about debt for equity is, at least they're getting a better dollar value out of it. Like everything they did in December and the most recent one they did was over $7. And if they're going to at the market, the price is going to tank 30% in the pre-market, and then they're going to be getting $3.50 or $3 per share rather than the $7 that they're doing for the straight debt for equity offering. So.
And
I
then
mean, it's the same reason that companies do big share, or well, not companies, but like these funds and hedge funds and retirement funds and ETFs, they use dark pools because they can get a better block price at a given fixed price. So I mean, it works the same way with these debt for equity swaps. You can get a fixed price for all the shares and just take care of it all at once.
And if you can do it into the strength of a Q3 and Q4 box office, then whatever institution is taking down that large amount on the debt for equity swap probably has a reasonable expectation that they can offload them, for 10 or 15% gain as box office improves and the stock price goes up. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're doing it for around 758. So that looks like it's going to be a future floor. Probably as we roll into maybe the next 6 months. I don't know if they're selling them right away, but the last one, the price was already below that, I think 720 price that they did the debt for equity for. So I doubt they're just dumping them to lose money right after doing the debt for equity. They're expecting some sort of price appreciation, I would assume.
And I was looking at those bonds. They're still holding up pretty well, around 87, 88 cents on the dollar. So
yeah, there was a nice bump up right after, eh?
Yeah.
I think I saw May talking about it. So that was.
I posted those charts.
Made a good investment there. Yeah. It's positive signs. Maybe we're not wrong. Maybe we're not too stupid.
Maybe we're not wrong. I mean, I know it's been a rough ride for a lot of people, but such is life when we're speculating on a non-profitable company.
All I know is I'm not expecting an ATM. Could it happen? It could. But, an offering direct could happen. I think that'll give us around $4. That's my thought. That's my thought.
And I
How
think
much cash
they
do
have
they have?
they
How
have
much
plenty
cash
of
do they have right
cash.
now?
They have plenty of cash to last probably the next 12 months. Wouldn't you?
Do you know what that number is right now? Because I think they'll probably burn about, if they get to 1.8, 1.7, they'll probably burn another 200 million quarter two.
250, I figure.
Yeah. And how much cash do they have after the offerings and after paying down Q1? Were they somewhere around 800 again?
It went down to like 680. Then you added like 250 back to it. Yeah, I mean, just rough numbers, somewhere around 900 million. I can probably
Q3 and Q4, they're probably in a good cash position, even if they do burn at 200, 250 this quarter. Unless Q3 and Q4 box office is absolutely collapsed and none of these movies perform.
They don't look bad to me. I mean, I don't know if they'll be profitable, but I think they'll be minimal cash burn, and there's a chance they could be profitable.
Well, just looking at it and comparing it from slates last year, it looks like Q3 will be comparable to Q3 last year, and Q4 will blow last Q4 out of the water. There's no strike impacts, and the release slate October, November, December is about 10 times better than it was last year. There's no dead spots, so I think that's probably roughly where we're going to be going into the last 2 years. So maybe break even over the last 2 quarters, maybe a little bit of profit, and then 2025 we'll really see what's going on in the industry.
Now, I said I was going to talk about GameStop for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've got an interesting theory on that, but I'll let you go ahead because you got something first.
I was just going to compare real quick. Again, guys, I want to say I don't hate GameStop. I never said, you hear people telling you on YouTube that Tony said he has a $7 price target for GameStop. These people need to clean the wax out of their ears. I had a $10 price target for GameStop, which it hit. And I never, if I thought it was 7, I would have made bets for 7, but I made bets for 10 and I won those bets.
But like 7 is like where you'd buy in, because if you think it's 10, that's below value and then you can make money.
7 is the pure book value, corrects. Mm-hmm. And that's when I say that, people hear that and they think I'm saying $7 is a target. I don't think it's going to book value. I didn't think it was going to book value before, but I thought it could hit 10, and then right after that we got the pop and Roaring Kitty. But here's what I just want to say about GameStop. As we're looking here, we have GameStop's statistics, and then I have this Napa Auto Parts. Just so you guys can see what another company. What we might be looking at on ratios, look at something under financial efficiency, like return on equity for Napa is 29%, return on assets 7%, return on invested capital 13%. Okay, just kind of keep those numbers in mind, 29, 7, 13. And I want you to, let's look now at GameStop. We'll flip back and forth here a couple times. 29, 7, 13. Let's look at GameStop's ROE, ROA, ROIC, and why they're not getting a high target price from Wall Street. ROE, 2%. ROA, less than 1%. ROIC, negative. So the GameStop YouTubers only want to talk about the cash on the balance sheet. And they're just doing very poor analysis of the financials, not looking at things like return on anything. What is, when we look at return on equity, return on assets, what are we measuring? We're measuring the cash on the balance sheet. And even with $4 billion, these numbers are actually going to get worse, because there's no return. There's no earnings. Do you hear what I'm saying? Return means what was your earnings on the income statement for all of that the assets you have on the balance sheet. GameStop is not making a meaningful profit. So all of these efficiency ratios are whack on GameStop. When you compare to anybody, you could go look at Best Buy, fantastic financial efficiency comparatively. So Wall Street is just saying, why would I buy a GameStop when I could buy a Napa Auto Parts or a Best Buy who is actually generating a return on their capital?
What's
That's
funny though, Tony, is the whole reason this whole Napa thing came up is because Corax and I were talking about the overall economy and where we thought it would go. It just turns out it's a perfect example of what we talk about all the time.
Well, I want to get some tinfoil out about the whole GameStop thing, because Saturday night during the live stream, it briefly came up. You know, they've got all that cash on the balance sheet, and Ryan Cohn has always been talking about getting some sort of digital storefront or some sort of thing to supplement or help balance out their brick and mortar operations. And so some people first as a joke, and then they started looking at it and going, you know, that's if they could get, you know, streamline it like, you know, what Ryan Cohn's been trying to do with GameStop and make it profitable. What if GameStop bought Newegg all the way down at how cheap it is right now, and then just integrated that as their digital storefront and started selling, you know, electronic goods through a rebranded Newegg,
I actually
and then
like
use
that
that.
idea.
Well, and that's what GameStop is, in my opinion. Like the legacy business's background, it's how they're going to pivot, and that's going to determine what their future valuation is going to be.
That's
how are they going to use that money?
That's the second bucket I want to talk about. So I kind of have a foot in each bucket with GameStop. On the one hand, I'm very bullish about their potentiality having $4 billion in cash. So I don't want you guys to think I'm being negative on GameStop. But the other foot is in the current financial analysis of GameStop, even with $4 billion on the balance sheet, has not substantially changed in Wall Street's eyes. And while retail is very bullish on the potentiality, that is not yet proven yet. So all you have to say to make me happy is, I'm going to gamble on that. I'm going to gamble on Ryan Cohen making a smart investment and utilizing that capital. Then I'd say no problem. Knock yourself out. But where I have a problem with the YouTubers is only talking about book value and saying this should be a $50 stock. That doesn't cut it on Wall Street. There's no institutions knocking each other over to go buy GameStop when it's currently overvalued, even with $4 billion on the balance sheet. There might be speculative institutions, a few of them, just like us, that are willing to bet on Ryan Cohen. But just understand you're gambling on Ryan Cohen. And if you tell me I'm gambling on Ryan Cohen, I know the financials are still kind of shitty, but I like the $4 billion and I like the potential, and I have faith they'll do something good with it, then we're all on the same page. I'm right there with you.
So, Tony, do you think they got
even on Roaring Kitty's live stream there? That's exactly what he said. He's like, my investment in GameStop is risky, and it's a bet on the management. And, and he said it straight out for everybody, right? His timing on those $20 calls was impeccable, unbelievable, actually. But ultimately,
well, it helps when you can kind of juice your own momentum.
If we let's look at one other thing here for GameStop cash flow, free cash flow per share. Sorry, this is not GameStop. This is Best Buy. $5.62 of free cash per share. Now let's look at GameStop. Negative 75 cents. Again, just pointing out a difference between another retailer. Free cash flow is horrible for GameStop on a per share basis. It's negative operating cash flow, and it's negative free cash flow. So again, having $4 billion on the balance sheet does not change these numbers. And so all I'm trying to do is for my viewers. Look, if you're a GameStop, what's the word they use? Elitist. You're not going to care about this, but you are angry at Wall Street for saying the financials are whack. And I'm just trying to have a rational conversation with you, showing you what Wall Street is looking at and why they're still going to be shorting it or not going to be as bullish and getting on board with you, with us, until there's actual positive cash flow and actual earnings. And so the ball's in Ryan's court. He could make this a $30 or $50 stock, absolutely, with the right investment.
So, Tony, I just looked up Newegg because Korak brought it up. They got a $325 million market cap. So GameStop could actually buy that, but I don't know how the financials are on that. I haven't really done any.
They're not super stellar. They're still losing money. That's why I said it's kind of I'm not sold on it, but it was a curious idea.
Yeah.
I
But that's
that-
not a bad idea.
I do
because-
like Newegg as a business. I buy a lot of stuff through them.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a good idea in a way, because
Especially when it comes into the buying philosophy that I have with a lot of these companies, since we're still in this like weak economy, but still high interest rate environment. You see a lot of companies that, okay, we're looking for expansion. We're looking for ways to build out our company, but we don't want to put risk into an investment into something that we don't know is there. So we've got money. How can we acquire these companies that already have a functional business and bring it into our fold at a reasonable price?
Lorenzo says, I like the momentum of GameStop. I love the momentum of GameStop too. That's why I'm trading it. I'm long. I own GameStop at about the same price as Kitty right now because it's a good potential momentum trade. I would not make a video telling you guys buy it because of the financials are great. Buy it because the book value is it's trading at almost 3x book. That is not justified when you look at the earnings. It is overvalued. Book value, no one is starting their analysis right there. If you tell me you're starting and ending your analysis on book value on GameStop, I will say you don't know what you're talking about. Talk about any of the ratios that have to do with earnings. That is what gets GameStop analyst upgrade to 30 plus
what
dollars.
makes what a good book value is for is your whole the security, your the likelihood that where your investment could fall to, or
right.
Like that.
All book value tells you is it's worth $11. That's all it tells you. There is no premium over book value without earnings. All of these other companies like Napa or Best Buy, the reason they're trading higher than book is because they're trading in a multiple of earnings. And since GameStop has earnings, they don't get that. They don't get that that multiple. They just don't. It's not.
It's why like I tend to add in like when I look at book value, I tend to instead of doing just price to book, I do price to book plus EPS. So you get that earnings there, and you can get a little bit of better idea. You're taking the book value and the earnings that it's making into consideration when you're looking at, is this a good price?
The only time I ever look at book value, Corex, is when I'm trying to dumpster dive for stocks. Like if I do a screen for
cigar butt investing.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm looking, show me every company that has a market cap lower than book.
You guys want to hear something funny?
Mm.
I was talking to my wife this morning. We were talking about all those automotive stocks and stuff like that. But we were talking about Circuit City ended up coming up. You guys remember Circuit City?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to make a bit of a move here. But I told my wife, I said, I don't see it because, it's brick and mortar. That's going to be tough, But there's some light news on that. I was surprised. I thought they were done totally.
Oh yeah, they did. They went bankrupt. They sold their IP, and I think they're just a digital storefront now. Like someone just uses the or maybe I'm thinking of Radio Shack, but it's like some of these stores that have gone and gotten washed out. Their IP gets bought in bankruptcy, and they're just plastered on a generic digital storefront to try and lend, name recognition.
Yeah, they're growing. I was surprised to see that. I couldn't believe it. But also, Toys R Us is still a thing, and I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
James says, could GameStop or Ryan buy 20,000 Bitcoin and try the MicroStrategies? It's MicroStrategies. That's the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
He
Used to be
could.
a little better than MicroStrategy because they kind of leverage their balance sheet, which is really risky.
Yeah, they did. Here's the question I would ask myself and you guys. I mean, if Ryan Cohen goes in right now and buys Bitcoin and it drops 20%, was that a good decision for him to go spend all their cash on Bitcoin? So you have to think like they are thinking. Do they think that Bitcoin's only going to go up, or do they acknowledge there's some risk that Bitcoin could go down, and that might not be a safe enough investment? Maybe we ought to go find a company that we can buy that is already profitable, or that we think we can fix up in short order and get it profitable. Could he do that? Could he buy Bitcoin and get people excited? And could you get a price bump from that? I think yes, in the short term. But if Bitcoin goes down, then was that good management? I think he'd be eviscerated for that.
I'm going to open a streaming service and call it Blockbuster Video.
I mean,
That might be a good business plan.
I know, I agree.
Bruiser Brody, what's up? Yolo Ono said, "What
What you got to do with that though, mediocre, is you connect it with Skip the Dishes somehow. So when you rent your video off Blockbuster, they bring you the snacks, the candy, and the popcorn to your house too.
Right.
And you know what? There's been a lot of that nostalgia lately. I've seen all over the internet. Even me and my friends have been talking about it. You remember back in the day, you go on a date night on a Friday and you run into Blockbuster and you meet all your friends there because everyone else is doing the same thing on a Friday night. It was an experience, right? And I think that's the thing with brick and mortar these days. Everything's so easy online. You got to provide some sort of experience to go along with the going out thing. Otherwise you're in big trouble. Yeah.
Think of this: if AMC started a streaming service and called it Blockbuster Video, and every time once a month,
original Netflix and chill, Blockbuster and chill,
they'll send you popcorn and candies once a month with your membership to. I don't know, just thinking this shit in my head. I'm making this shit up as I go. I'm spitballing, Tony.
El Campo says just invest a quarter of it. I mean, the safest thing for them to do would, I mean, they sold off most of their treasuries in Q1. GameStop did, which was odd to me because, they were making a decent amount of interest money from that. So, why did they do that? Did they do that?
The question is where they sold it at, because I'm trying to think, because like treasuries have been getting beat up on the face value. So selling those off at the beginning of the year, unless I'm trying to think of where would have been a good time in Q1 to sell those off, because it actually came down off its high, I think, during Q1. And recently the face value has actually appreciated since the FOMC. So, I mean,
yeah,
they have to have a plan for that. Getting a 5% return on $4 billion is a good use of capital in business. Like, they're not going to grow their market cap or do anything with that.
That's the other thing I hear a lot of people say. They including our friend Charlie Zip Trader, that Ryan could just invest the $4 billion and get 5% and make $200 million a year. He could, but Wall Street again is going to eviscerate him for being a non-inspirational leader. Not really putting the capital to any thoughtful use. And if you want to park it there for 6 months while you're looking at other targets to acquire, I think that's fine.
Well, I think that might be the better idea, because you wouldn't get so eviscerated on face value depreciation, and you get that juicier front end of the yield curve interest rate.
But I'm hopeful, guys, that tomorrow in the annual meeting that they actually say something about anything, about what the strategic plan is, because I think
That's-
we all kind of need to know that.
That's the problem, and that's why it's hard for me. Is looking more long term, it's hard for me to have any sort of conviction holding GameStop, say, on a run up, because you don't know what is going to happen, and you can bet on the management and stuff like that, but it's tough without knowing. Right?
Wall Street's looking at it again. Another negative on GameStop is that they're not providing any guidance. Like, Wall Street relies on management guidance. Who knows the business better than management? Everybody else out here, including the analysts, is just guessing. And all we can look at is declining revenues and a certain amount of cash on the balance sheet. We need some guidance to get excited, to really put meaningful money. You want to see institutional money flow into GameStop? Give some guidance. And I know here's what they're going to say. And it's a fair comment. They're going to say, if you wait until they give guidance, you're going to miss the boat. Maybe so. But what if there's no guidance and the price gets pushed down?
Because that's what I'm really curious about the shareholders meeting, is we haven't gotten any earnings calls or anything like that. Are we going to get at least some idea at the shareholders meeting of what the long-term vision is, besides the generic stuff that we've seen in the press releases and stuff like that? Is Ryan Cohen going to get on the mic and say, hey, we have this vision of what we want to do. Here's why we did all these off ATM offerings. Here's what we're going to do with the cash. Here's what we're going to do with the money. And, you might see a lot more momentum, but it's just, I don't know. He's been really mum, and that's what is kind of frustrating.
That's what it is. It's a bet on the management. It's a bet on they're working silently to build something big, and that's what that investment is.
So AMC is a bet on future box office, and GameStop is a bet on management doing something smart with $4
I just think they'd be doing a lot better if they just said something. If you're making a bet on management, it's really hard to make that bet as someone like me who's just trying to look at it neutrally if management doesn't tell you what they're doing.
Well, I mean, they've been betting on management for 2 years, and the stock has only gone down because management has not been successful in creating meaningful earnings. They've been good. They've been great at cutting costs.
And I have no hate towards people who want to make that bet on GameStop.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. Just say, like Rory and Kitty did, I'm betting on management. Just say that, and we're all friends. We can go have a beer together. The ones that I'm not real happy with right now are the ones telling people to buy because it should be trading at 5x book. It should be a $50 stock, and that's not a factual analysis.
And even me personally, I don't like that. I don't like or understand, I guess you could say, that bet, but I do understand the box office bet, and so that's why I'm much more comfortable with that investment in AMC versus GME. GME is nice right now with the IV and making some money off covered calls, but because I don't understand how that business pivots, I don't have the conviction to hold it, say, if the price were to drop. Whereas AMC, I understand what I'm betting on.
Here's what I think,
I understand
Mike.
what I'm doing. Yeah.
I think GameStop would be a stupid short below $18.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you give it, say, book value's 11, say management doesn't tell us anything on Monday. We're just left hanging out in the wind betting on Ryan Cohen. He's still got $4 billion and nobody knows what he's going to do with it. And I think if you're trying to short it below $20, below 18, you're running a risk of him popping out some news in the next 6 months that catches you off guard.
Offsides.
And all of a sudden it runs up to $30 to $60 again.
Like I said, it's the reason why this week I'll be setting out. Last week I was setting out, and I think the week before that, where I'm just kind of, it's been entertaining and fun to watch.
So I'm in at 20. I'm in at 23. I think I'm okay holding it down to about 20 and not feeling nervous. But I really would like to hear something, either from Kitty or Cohen.
Yeah, the problem is your trigger finger gets itchy with GameStop too on a run up because you don't know what a
Oh,
future valuation could be.
I'll sell in a run up.
So,
That's I'll sell, Mike.
yeah, and that's why I've been that's why I've been covered call wise. Well, as when AMC ran, and I know you guys are sometimes swing trading it over the course of a week when run ups. Like I'm looking for the bulk of the markup for fundamental value for AMC. So when I saw that run up to 10 or 12, well, I sold some covered calls because the IV was nice. But for the majority of my position, like that wasn't at a valuation that I'm ready to sell yet. So I kind of just held on to it, made a little money off covered calls, added to my position. I was good. GME, if it runs up, I just don't understand what Cohen's doing. So, like I said, I bought back in. I've been selling for premium, every couple of weeks or so, and lowering my cost value. But if it runs back up to 30 or 35, I'd probably be out of it because I don't understand the play like other people who really like Ryan Cohen, I guess.
It hit.
I just don't have that same belief, right?
It hit, I think, just over 33 in the past week, Mike, and I was almost there with the sell button, and I didn't. I needed it to go up 50 more cents, and I would have sold it, and it didn't, and then I'll faded back down. So we'll see.
Like the IV's so insane. Like when it dropped down, I think I got back in just over 24. And then I sold a couple covered calls that were like 8 days out for $300 or $400 a call. It was crazy, right? So like right away, I dropped my position, another $3 basis value.
Nice.
So
nice.
Like I'm happy selling 30s on that until the end of time, and just adding some cash on it. But until and I'll stop doing it if we see some sort of announcement or we see some sort of fundamental thing that I can kind of wrap my head around and understand the valuation for the company. But until then, I'm not comfortable betting on management, but I'm all for people. If they want to bet on management, that's their prerogative. If that's the bet they want to make.
What did you say, mediocre?
What were we talking about? I've read a few things since then.
Oh, I thought you were just about to add something when Mike was talking.
I said, you should be selling covered calls to make up that 50 cents you were worried about.
I should have, yeah.
That's what I said.
The reason
I'm 50 cents on GME mediocre.
The reason I'm not selling covered calls on GameStop mediocre is because the upside runs on GameStop last week could have been $40 or $60 again.
Yeah,
and
I know, I get it.
I think once that happens, it might happen again, but it's going to catch people off guard. I think those things rarely happen when people are planning for it. When everyone's yelling squeeze, 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 usually the opposite happens. And when everyone's dejected and in a terrible mood, that's usually when the big moves happen, right?
That's what we saw last week with the inverse scam investor model, where he kept pimping the stock, and every time it'd go blurp, blurp, blurp.
We need some
an interesting guy. Yeah.
We need news from Ryan or Keith to really get a run up again. I think since he sold his call options, if there's no new news, I don't know what makes the stock shoot back up next week.
But the one point you did make, Tony, is a very good point. I think, especially if GameStop runs back down to like 15 or 20, I think your downside's extremely limited with the cash.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you're that is a very good point. A lot less risk in that company now.
Pertman says, "Who's going to buy our debt?" Are you talking about AMC?
I think he's talking.
No, I think he's talking about general U.S. Treasuries.
Oh, Treasury.
People who need dollar liquidity. You got the dollar at 105. They need dollars. They buy in Treasuries. That's the
moolah. They want the moolah.
They want the most stable and liquid bond market in the world, because hard times are coming, and 5% is pretty good if you think that a recession's coming.
Correct.
Don't ever count America out, baby.
Yeah, especially
Warren
when
Buffett.
Especially when Trump gets elected. Hey, correct. Did you see my tweet a couple weeks ago about the AMC investors? We should all go in and buy the 2026 bonds.
I saw that.
and once we have them all locked up, because the popcorn project people, they were all willing to donate. Remember Ethan saying, everybody's willing to go donate. everybody is willing to donate $1,000. I'm like, I ain't donating shit.
Shit.
No company is getting my money as a donation. Sorry, but I will buy a bond. I'll buy
Just
a bond.
imagine those bonds if they do manage to refinance them. You buy them even at these
God.
prices. You get the refi, and those is probably
Like, if you want to donate money to AMC, go buy $1,000 worth of popcorn. Like the margin on it's about 78%. And you can fill the balance sheet up. Like, well, you've seen it in the food and beverage. If there is a retail following of the stock, it seems like that's partly happening, right?
It's hilarious. These people are ready to donate $1,000, but they're at the same time they're saying let's boycott AMC and murder the CEO.
Tony, let's take a poll. Hoops Dad's got a question for you.
What's he got? Does mediocre look like Ted Cruz? He does. Should we do a poll?
You guys are ridiculous.
Ted Cruz. Oh my goodness.
It's a compliment. Ted Cruz is a very handsome man. Mediocre.
When I heard Ted Cruz, and for some reason, for 5 seconds before I recalculated, I'm like, Tom Cruise? He doesn't look like Tom Cruise.
What else? The idea on the AMC bonds was, if you guys really think that there's 400,000 of us that could go buy 1 or 2 bonds each, we could buy up all the 2026 debt, which AMC is paying either 10 or 12% on. Let's just say 10 right now. They're paying 10%. Let's just go
buy them at a discount.
No, let's go buy them all up. We're going to get them at a discount because they're trading at 87 cents or whatever. And even if AMC doesn't take us up on our offer, which I'm going to tell you about next, you'll get a 10% coupon. Plus you're getting a discount on the bond. So you're getting it for say $850, and you're going to get $1,000 from AMC in 2026, right? So that's a deal. You're going to get 10% interest plus the difference between the current price of the bond and the face value in 2026. You're going to make that extra up. Speaking of, but let me just finish. The deal is, if we could lock all those up, if you guys think there's 400,000 of us that could go buy 2 bonds, willing to do it, then we go to AMC once we've all, filled out our petition and say, yeah, I'm buying the bonds. We go to AMC and say, we're buying up all these bonds and we will give you opportunity to buy us out with a new bond maturing in 2035, paying 2% interest. That's better than donating your money for nothing. You are a stakeholder in the company. You're a bondholder. You're
higher on the capital stack.
You're higher up than all the common shareholders. You're getting 2% interest, which is better than donating your money and getting nothing. So what's other than the fact that it's a shitty deal because you could go get 5% on treasuries, I understand it's a shitty deal, but it's better than donating your money. How come the Project Popcorn gang doesn't talk about doing that, Corex?
That's a great question.
Well, if you read page 164 of the Project Popcorn documents, you would understand that's exactly what management wants retail to do to screw us over. But you got to read Project Popcorn, Tony.
Well, I'm not reading that shit. I read the court documents.
Is Mike being serious?
No, I was being facetious. Yeah. It's being sarcastic.
I read the court documents.
So I can't really tell you. I don't pay attention to nonsense. I'll just give you that.
But
you would never get retail to coordinate enough, I think, to do
short
that.
Squeeze rallies. Imagine buying AMC's debt during the COVID lows and then setting at 80 cents on the dollar now after buying them on like almost pennies on the dollar.
I know.
Oh,
I think May got them really cheap. Markets with May.
Yeah.
I don't know what she paid, $35 or $40. She's already doubled her money, and she's going to do even better and
she's getting interest payments while she does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's getting a good return. Yeah.
But
and
people want to hate
than equity.
People want to hate on the bondholders. I think if you're hating on bondholders, you just don't understand bonds.
Envy.
It's just
the bondholders made money and a lot of these people
it's
did.
ignorance, and I don't mean that as an insult. I just mean you don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just the risk reward, right? There's a lot less risk with bonds, but a lot less reward. But there's more risk with equity, but a lot more reward if it works out in your favor. Right?
Yeah, there weren't many bondholders. When AMC ran up from $2.60 to $12, that was an outsized reward on common. If you bought at the bottom and sold on that run up, the bondholders are never going to participate in something like that. But they don't want that volatility. They want the predictability. They want the coupon. They've done their homework and they have a reasonable belief that the company's not going bankrupt. So they're just playing. They're all pulling for the company to survive too, just in a different form of ownership of the company. Pertman says AA dilutes to service the debt. Why not get on the right side of that by buying bonds? Yeah. If you are a bondholder, you're not affected by the dilution.
And if you can still get them below face value, you might get bought out at a pretty decent price.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, it's just an idea. The thing is, Mike, I don't know if we could even get 400,000 people to pony up $1,000 or $2,000.
How much you need me to put in, Tony?
That's always been the issue with retail. They just don't
How many bonds you want me to buy?
We can't even get them to vote in the damn election, and that's free.
Tony, I didn't vote.
That's disappointing.
For it. I said I was going to vote with all my thousands of shares, Tony, and I never did.
We can't be
the
friends.
The turnout
anymore.
was actually very disappointing.
But you know why I didn't vote, Tony?
Was that low.
You know why I didn't vote? Because I just don't give a shit, Tony.
I know. What's up, Sufyan? What's up, Manuel? Pertman says, y'all got me wanting to read more about corporate bonds. I would say this. Look, I'm not a bond expert. I've said that many times. When I need to talk bonds, I bring in people that are much smarter than me, which is why I have May on, because she trades bonds. And I have Sparky on because he is in the industry. He doesn't work for a hedge fund, guys. He's a portfolio manager for a company. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want him getting doxxed, but it has nothing to do with AMC or the entertainment industry. But he understands bonds. And we did a live stream for you guys about 2 weeks ago.
It was a really good one.
And went over, I just picked their brains for 2 hours. I know enough about what's going on with the debt restructuring to ask the right questions now. Now I know enough. And they were kind enough to share their time with us. And I think if you guys haven't watched that video, if you want to understand everything AMC is going through right now to get this debt restructured, that's an excellent live stream to watch when you got some free time.
What in the heck is this?
Yeah, I watched that one, Tony. That was really good.
And I have been learning a lot. Like I've been putting in a lot of work. I haven't studied bonds since the late 80s, in school.
Tony, I'll trade anything I could learn about and make money, and I don't care.
The more I'm learning about it, especially, discounted bonds like AMC, where I don't think the company's going bankrupt now, like Mike was saying, I wish I would have bought them before. That was a stupid good return.
What were they trading?
I think they were pretty risky until maybe in the last year or so, because AMC had serious bankruptcy risk for a while there.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike, you and I both never thought AMC was going bankrupt as long as they have the ability to raise cash.
Yeah, but before APE happened, before the conversion, and they allowed more equity raise, like it was touch and go there. That's probably the most nervous I'd been.
I was nervous, yeah. Then these dipshits throwing a monkey wrench into the lawsuit, trying to hold up the company's ability to raise cash and avoid bankruptcy. We got our own shareholders to bankrupt the company so they can get a short squeeze.
Roses.
How'd that work out for Bed Bath & Beyond?
Paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawyers. That made a lot of sense.
Yeah. YOLO Ono says, what has been the film of the year so far? Probably Inside Out 2. Dune 2, maybe? Let's see. I got that screen up here.
Inside Out 2, it like doubled the biggest opening of the year.
Dune 2 did a gross of 282 million. Godzilla 196, Kung Fu Panda 193. Inside Out 2 is already at 155 on its opening weekend. So I think it's a safe bet, wouldn't you think, Mike, that by the end of this month, Inside Out 2 will be higher than Dune 2, unless it just drops over the next 2 weeks.
I think the only movie that has a shot at beating Inside Out 2 this year, if we get reasonable holds, what you would expect is probably Deadpool and Wolverine. And the tracking for that movie looks out of this world.
I actually have Moana. I have Moana as the top movie of the year.
You know, see, Moana's the before my generation. That's, I think, the latest generation's kind of big Pixar or Disney kind of movie. So I don't quite understand that one, but apparently that's really big. Apparently the trailers for Moana 2 are the biggest in history. That's not necessarily conducive to box office, but it's interesting for sure. Yeah.
My feeling right now is people are overestimating Deadpool and Wolverine, and I love both characters. So I hope that it beats my estimates. But I don't know that it's going to do as good as everybody is thinking. I think it's going to be a big movie. But
I saw some tracking opening weekend last week, and they're saying between 200 and 230 million opening weekend.
Oh, well, I mean, if that's the case, then I
unbelievable opening.
If that's the case, then I need to update my numbers.
If you follow any of the industry guys on Twitter, I think the first tracking numbers came out just last week, and that's the numbers that they had starting off.
All right, well, good. Then I did look into all the movies for the rest of this year last week on Monday and Tuesday, and I came up with a number a little bit lower than that for Deadpool, but I'll see if I can get some updated guidance before my video tomorrow, my AMC update, because I'd love to update and increase my Deadpool number. I'm just trying to be reasonable about it, you know.
I think it's better to be conservative.
Yeah,
and like you have every year, some movies overperform, some movies underperform, and it ends up being somewhere in the middle of what you expect. So conservative estimates usually work. Yeah.
All right, boys. I'm gonna head out.
In terms of the most fun I had at the movies this year, though, it was actually Fall Guy. That was like, I love Dune 2, but Fall Guy was a great movie.
Fall Guy was good. You're leaving us, mediocre?
Yeah. I got some stuff I got to take care of early.
All right. I wanted to keep it at about 2 hours, and we're almost there. So we're going to be wrapping up in a few minutes anyways. But thank you for your time.
I appreciate you, brother.
I'll be talking to you mañana.
Corax, Bush.
Yeah, maybe one of these times, mediocre, you and I should sit down and look at some of these auto parts companies and see what we come up with.
Jump in
I just looked at one that, like, it's one that I'm really scared about because of where the company is, but its numbers are like, its metrics are freaking insane.
There's Sparky in the chat.
It was very cool being on a live stream with Ted.
Good night, you guys.
I appreciate that.
Hey, mediocre. See you later.
Good night.
Lordy says, wouldn't that be collusion and manipulation if we all formed a movement? I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I don't know if you can have collusion going out in the public market and buying up bonds. I don't know.
The bonds work similar to equity? Like, is it completely based on ratings, or if there's a big demand for bonds, do they mark up as well?
I'm going to tell you my answer, and then I'll let Sparky correct me. I think that bonds trade partially on demand, Mike. So if we all go at the same time and start trying to buy them up, there's going to be only so many willing sellers at the current price. And in order to find more sellers at some point, the price will probably move up as we're trying to buy them. You know what I mean? But that's a separate question than would it be collusion? I don't know. I mean, what are you colluding to do?
Yeah, I guess unless you're dumping them on people after the fact and you're pumping the bonds. If you're selling it back to the company, I don't think so. Otherwise, I guess if you're pumping them to sell them back, it'd be the same as pumping an equity and trying to dump
Well,
it on
I mean,
people.
we would have a stated goal before we even started this. And I'm just spitballing here. I don't even know if this is possible, legal. I don't know. I'm just like talking about the idea. The stated goal would be for everybody to buy them and agree that our purpose is to buy up enough of the bonds to go approach management and offer to have them swap them for a lower interest, further out bond. Could some people trade on that? Maybe, but I don't think because of the credit rating, Mike, you get a huge run up in the bonds, even if we're all out there buying them.
Yeah, and it's not like bonds trade derivatives or calls or puts or something where you're trying to pump IV. So.
Sparky says it's not collusion. He's the bond guy, so
Sparky likes the bonds. That's all he's got to say.
I don't think he owns any. He's just he's our consultant, our YouTube comment consultant. I got to be careful what I say, Corax, because you know
you may end up in another documentary.
Yeah, people love to take things out of context.
Mike, maybe one of these times you'll get enough heel heat to join us in the main event scene.
Maybe we could have a tag team event. Me and you, you know, would go bare knuckles against Ethan and
I don't want none of that smoke. I just like movies. That's all.
Yeah, I don't do all that high school name calling shit either. Somebody crosses that line with me, I just block them. I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk to people about how to make money.
It's exactly like it says in my Twitter bio. People know what I am when they come and watch my live stream. So when I jaw jack on Twitter, the only people that's getting made to look like the fool is the people who try and talk shit, and they're usually the ones that start it. I like a good debate with bears. I like understanding what the other side of the trade is. Like,
me too.
The other side of the trade, but
I love having conversations with people that don't like the stock, but unfortunately, 99% of them can't do it without insulting you or talking about irrelevant things. Like, just tell me, what don't you like? Well, I don't like Adam Aaron. We need someone else. Okay, what would you like someone else to do differently?
Hey, I'd like to get.
They don't have any. They don't have any meaningful talking points.
Yep.
It's just, I don't like him. I don't like you.
And even the bearish thesis, I haven't heard a talking point that's really convincing enough to make me think that what's gonna, the steamroller of movies that's coming out in the future is not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if
I hear something different, I'll think different. But
the bearish thesis, which I think is reasonable, is box office will never return to what AMC needs it to be. Okay, maybe so. But you don't know that for sure, and neither do I. So we're both going to just have to wait. One of us will be right.
And even when you get into some of these bearish talking points too, they're talking, well, look at 2023. Well, 2023, we had 65% of the releases of pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And we're only down in the box office about 28%. And then people start sputtering and, well, declining industry. Well, maybe, but they make it up for ticket prices and concessions. And like I said, it's not the era of $9.99 Netflix where Netflix had a monopoly. Streaming prices are going up. You're getting all these cable packages. Every other streamer outside of Netflix is burning cash. I don't think the streaming business can support AAA movie making, and like people just sputter as soon as you start bringing up these points, right? Like as soon as they did day and date, pirating went up, I think, like 65%. There's a bunch of articles in that in 2022. So you have all these guys spending $100 million to make a movie for the streaming service that gets pirated right away because people don't want to own 10 different streamers.
Have you seen how much it costs to?
Well, I've always said that the streaming is going to turn into the new cable package thing where everyone cuts the cord and then you end up with a bunch of different streaming services. And it's now, well, what streaming package would you like?
Have you seen how?
And so I think what that turns into is if you don't have the box office, people are going to pick one or two streamers and they're going to pirate everything else again. Pirate Bay is going to make a big resurgence. So I think for the industry to be healthy, they broke a model that was working. So I think ultimately what the model becomes is you have theatrical, hopefully with an extended release time. Then maybe you go digital rental. So you have your digital blockbuster. And after that, to buy or to rent. And then after that, you go to the streaming service. And I think you're basically just building back the model that was working prior to all the COVID experiments and everything else. And really, that's my long-term thesis on the box office.
I would say that I'm somewhere sort of in between there, where I think streaming is got its place. And I think there's going to be it's not going to be as big as it was when, like you said, when Netflix first came out, because now it's kind of like the new cable, the new service providers, your ISP, and then you have your cable distributors. But I mean, the streaming is definitely, got its popularity and things like that. My thing is just where the price point currently looks like at theaters. I think it's not so much that people can't they treat it almost like a cheaper version of how every now and then people go to their local theme park or something like that. And so it's going to be one of those things that you go to every maybe few months, maybe once a week, not a big, it's not like where it was when we were growing up where it's like, well, we got to go to the movies. That's the big thing, And so I don't think, I'm not over on the far bearish camp that theaters are going to die. How people say retail store, brick and mortar stores are going to die. But at the same time, I think it's a different environment, and you're going to see a lot more of what AMC is doing, where they have the, dine-in offerings and things like that to make it a complete, full experience. Like when you go to a theme park, you got a complete full experience. You come in, yeah, you're spending a lot of money, but you're going to be doing this only so often. So you're okay with the expense. And that's how, a big theater chain like say AMC can make money still.
Yeah, and I think the other issue too is people I see that debate, and that's really been big on Twitter lately, is the expense of theaters. Well, number one, you don't have to buy the concessions. Number two, you when I was a kid and I used to go to the movie, we weren't buying a large popcorn and the packages and stuff all the time. Number two, you can go on a Tuesday. You can still get tickets for quite a reasonable price. And you're doing the same thing going out to a restaurant, you're paying 3 times the price as you would go to the theater. It's still probably one of the cheapest out of house entertainment forms that there are. So I don't quite buy that. I think the biggest damage has been the convenience of streaming and the shortened windows. So when you're sitting there, you have 2 weekends to go see a movie before it's on streaming, and then you're kind of well, I can just kind of watch it at home. The one positive thing that I've been seeing, especially with Inside Out, is they're slowly extending the windows back again to make it an event and to make it to give people time to go see the movie if they want to. And if you're on a budget, I think they have plenty of opportunities to go see a movie cheap. You can spend $7, $8, $9 a ticket on a Tuesday. They have $5 deals for older movies and stuff like that. But then if you want the full experience, which I do sometimes, but I don't do it every time because it's too pricey. I went to go see Dune 2 in IMAX, and we got all the, took the family and we got all the fixings, but that was a movie that was worth it. But on the other hand, I do a date night with the old lady once in a while too. And, it's like $30, $35 for a Tuesday night out. Whereas if we went to a restaurant or something, where between drinks and a couple apps, you're looking at 100, 150. So I don't quite get the expense argument, but I know that's been out and about quite a bit on Twitter lately.
Well, I mean, it's a catch-22, Mike, because the industry, for whatever reason, thinks people want a more luxury experience. So they're installing, fancier seating, fancier sound systems.
I mean, AMC's even admitted that those higher fidelity screens have been a big draw for them.
Yeah. People demand it, but that doesn't come free. That's why ticket prices are going up. So I get it. I mean, some people are being priced out. Mm-hmm. And at some point, it's going to hit this, what's the word? Where
equilibrium.
Yeah, equilibrium.
Equilibrium, yeah. But I also think people have to realize too, they don't have to go to the IMAX every time they go see a movie.
Well, right. I think it's exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's exactly like I look at brick and mortar stores. there's a balance and equilibrium between it. Like I get quite a bit of stuff off Amazon, don't get me wrong, but if I want something today and I want it now, I'm going down to the Wally World to get it. I'm going down to the Best Buy to get it. And that's the advantage of brick and mortar retail outlets. It's the same way with AMC. There's a bunch of movies that I'm just going to want to watch at home because I don't feel like wasting time, or I don't want to, but there's some experiences that I want the full in theater experience. I want the big IMAX with the 3D whatever and the bag of popcorn and my friends, and we go have a fun, night out.
For me, it's not the experience like the date night or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it on the biggest screen, the biggest sound. And even if you have a badass home setup with surround sound, it's still not the same. And you have all the interruptions from around the house. It's just not the same.
Yeah, that's a big one too. I found since we've been going to the movies a little bit more often, you actually spend 2.5 hours without looking at your phone, without being and you actually pay attention to the movie. Like I watch some shows on streaming now and I have to watch them over like 5 times because I'm not paying attention the whole time I'm watching them. Yeah. And I found some really great movies because I'm actually paying attention for a couple hours. Found some stinkers too. But that's part of the experience. So I've kind of really been enjoying that aspect of it lately too, as I've been going more often.
Yeah, the AMC recliners, perp man, are almost too comfortable. Like I'm always fighting like not going to sleep, even if it's a good movie. Now, that's partly my fault because I don't ever sleep. You get in a dark room feeling, you get in a dark room, lay all the way back in a nice comfy chair. It's like, come on, stay awake, Tony. Speaking of staying awake, I don't want to keep you guys up too late. I wanted to not do more than 2 hours tonight because we need to wake up and find out what's up with that IV on GameStop and AMC.
Before we escape, I want to get the crowbar out on Mike. Is there any company you're bullish on besides AMC?
Oh, like in terms of like in the theatrical industry?
No. Just like anything. Just like is there any stock that excites you?
Well, I like some of the big ones. Like I like Tesla. I really like Elon Musk. But a lot of my trading is in individual stocks. Like I said, I got in AMC a long time ago, and I've really dug into the fundamentals as the prices kind of come down to understand it. But a lot of my investing is I'm doing like total market ETFs, things like that. I do have some shares as I've gotten more knowledgeable about with options. I sell covered calls on. Like some Mag 7 ones. I don't personally. I think Nvidia is overvalued. I'm not a big fan of Nvidia. I do like Tesla, and then some other small like dividend paying stocks I have in my portfolio just to kind of build up a little bit of cash here and there. But overall,
I just want to get it out there.
The fundamentals like AMC, I've really dug into in the last few years. So I probably understand that stock more than any other stock in the market.
Yeah. I think it's just interesting to hear sort of like, some of us get identified by our one big thesis trade and people forget that we're just regular investors.
I love the comments on my video, Korak. So why are you talking about GameStop? Don't you only own AMC? I'm like, I've been talking about dozens and dozens and dozens of stocks for 3 years. But yeah, people want to pigeonhole you. I make my videos about AMC because there's so many people putting out bad information. I almost feel obligated, but I like movies. I've always owned AMC, but a lot of my content is generated by the fact that I wake up and I see some bullshit out there, like, oh, let's vote against this. Let's go sue the company. And I'm like, you guys literally are going to bankrupt the company, for example, or these same dipshits telling people, oh, for sure the judge is going to rule in our favor. They're not going to rule in AMC's favor. I'm like, you guys are going to make people lose a lot of money with your viewpoint. And fortunately, the only people they made lose money was themselves because they believed their own DD. But that's why I make a lot of AMC videos, certainly not because it's the only stock I own. And when I do make videos on other stocks, nobody watches them. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
and
same
I got a
time
full-time
commitment.
job. Yeah, I
Yep.
It's
got
the
a
same
full-time
time
job too,
commitment.
and I don't think I have. I don't think I have the time to dig into many other stocks as much as I have.
I dig into them. I dig into them and I post them in the Discord and I buy them and I occasionally make a video on some of them. But if you're going to put in half a day to make a video and 300 people are going to watch it or 3,000 are going to watch it, which video are you going to make? You're going to make the AMC video.
Yeah.
But I still don't make an AMC video every day. I make one when I have something meaningful to say, or somebody crossed a line by saying something dumb, you know. Anywho, guys, gentlemen, thank you.
Mhm.
Corex, tell them about your socials. Mike, tell them how to find you.
Yeah, I'm on X as Sunny Corax, and I'm here on YouTube as A Noisy Corax. Just got done doing a catch up, so we had a double header live stream because I missed last weekend. So catch both those. They were a lot of fun. We had some good guests. It was a good time.
Corex covers a lot of the lawsuit stuff in various stocks. If you guys are interested in legal stuff, he spends a lot of his time on that.
Yeah.
So he's a good resource.
Drop by the Discord. If you've got a stock that you've got that's got a lawsuit, I'd be happy to hear about it because I'd like to have some new names other than the boring stuff I always have to keep covering.
And
Mix
Mike,
it up a little bit.
Mike, you're not on YouTube. You're just on Twitter, right? What's your Twitter handle?
Yeah. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm at Mike VOGR on Twitter. Most of my Twitter is just kind of sharing industry projections of movies and stuff like that, and getting in debates with people who are bearish in the industry and kind of finding out where their thesis is. So
he's a good follow. He's a good follow on Twitter, guys, for someone who is bullish on the company, but he understands the financials and I would say go give him a follow just because you're going to get reasonable fact-based information. Mike is a little bit more bullish than me, but only slightly. I think we both have the same viewpoint that as long as box office next year in 2026 are better, there's very little chance AMC goes bankrupt unless something bad happens in the economy or another from China. But we do acknowledge that there is some.
We've learned that we don't shut everything down the next time that happens.
Hope so. There's some risk of dilution or debt for equity swaps. We don't really know yet. I'll do my update on that tomorrow, and I'll do one more. I'll do one every Tuesday till Q2 is done. Monday evening or Tuesday. And what I'm hoping in every week is I can tell you the movies in June are doing better than I forecast, because that's really fantastic for all of us. We know it's not going to be a great Q2, but if I can come on and tell you it's better than I thought it was going to be, that's good news, right, Mike?
Yeah, 100%. And like you just watch, people are so emotional. You know, a movie fails or doesn't do as well as you expect, and everyone's like, the industry's dying, and then a movie does great, and it's like the industry's living forever. Just have a balanced view, be patient, don't get emotional.
Just unplug for a bit. I know I have a bunch of
long-term members. Yeah,
I have a bunch of long-term plays, and I love them because I've made my decision. I'll occasionally update my thesis, but I click the button. I've done the buy. I'm going to go over here and play on my Switch and have a good time. I don't need to think because I've done the homework already.
And
even my style, like I'm holding shares long-term. I will sell small portions of my portfolio and cover calls when I see volatility, but you know, until I'm seeing how the box office is going to perform over the next couple of years, that's until then, I don't know what the final price where I think a good sale point is. So I'm waiting to watch it. And you know, if something bad happens, like Tony said, the box office collapses, or you just see this massive decline, then you know, I guess I was wrong. But I try to keep balanced view and try to be reasonable.
Mediocre was on here earlier. His YouTube is Mediocre Trader. If you guys want to go give him a follow, we're trying to get him over 1,000 viewers. So he would appreciate that. Corex, you're already over 1,000 or no?
Yeah.
All right. So you're making that $2 per live stream just like
I know, right? Go out and buy me a can of Monster.
You can get if you go on the McDonald's app, you can get 2 cheeseburgers for the price of one
Ooh,
with the live stream
nice.
money. So, guys, thank you very much. Hopefully, you enjoyed the conversation tonight. Thank you for all the great questions. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We only got a couple hours left. I'll be up early tomorrow, watching the momentum stocks and some other trades. And in my free time, I have now probably about 6 new value stocks that I'm trying to get enough DD done on to make a video. And so over the next week or 10 days, I'll get those videos out, as well as some more videos on the wheel trading strategy. And that's going to be kind of a weekly segment for us, talking about what is the wheel, how do you sell cash secured puts and covered calls to generate weekly income, because that's a lot of what we do here. So you can make money even if the stocks you're holding are just trading flat. Not that we're trying to make any of y'all into options traders. Again, if you don't understand options, don't trade them. You will lose money. But if you want to start learning about them and paper trading, then we'll have that content out there, and we can have discussions going forward as you have questions. If you watch a video and you have a question, drop it in the comments, because it'll help me make sure I get the next video to answer your questions on the wheel. So with that being said, let me pull up the intro video that I spent my day on, and we'll make it the outro video here too.
Rocking.
And I'm going to bid you guys adieu.
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control the little my bones. I'm coming for the I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins. Won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobody who died and made you king of anything. You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storm's coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control the living my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step